Okay, so in the last couple of videos I've been talking about doing this beast, getting this beast into a tow truck. And so today's the big day, and the hardest part now I think is done. I think that we've solved the biggest issue. So got this bolted on. The biggest problem was just trying to figure out the right angle of attack on this, because the first attempt I had it way further down, and the cutoff was further out, but there wasn't enough strength in the board because that bolt was too close to the top. So I straightened it up and it worked. So, well, that's not the point. It worked very well, I should say. So now you can see I've tried to run my wires a bit, and I think they might reach the winch up here. So that'll work out good. And then I can tuck it up under here. I'll put it in a piece of plastic so it doesn't get wet. And of course this thing's always tarped. So now the couple of issues I wanted to make sure of was, one, would it hold without falling over? Would it hold the weight? The way I see it is I can pick up a front end of a lawnmower a little bit. So I don't know, I weigh like 170 pounds, so my point is I was worried the front end of the lawnmower would kick up when there was weight on this. You can see I'm putting my entire weight, I think you can see, on it, and it's not even budging. So in yesterday's video I showed you had a board way out here and I did it. So that's good. The other concern I had was the wagon. I don't know if you can see, but I was worried the wagon wouldn't work either. But we've cleared the wagon by a lot, so that should turn pretty good. So now the last issue is I don't want, when I pick the lawnmower up, I don't want it coming back and hitting me. But I don't think it's going to if I pick it up high enough. It'll hit these boards. But if it does, then I'll put a board kind of like this down here. And so the lawnmower will run into that board and I can pad it so it won't scratch it up. But we'll see that once we get the winch put on. Okay, so now this board is a 2x6. I'm going to use it to put the winch onto. And I'm making it a little big because I want it to come out over the 2x4. So I'm going to double check my measurements real quick. People said I needed to change my saw blade the last time I worked on wood. I told you in that video that I was running off the inverter and the inverter didn't have the power to cut. So same saw blade, different power source. So to all the geniuses that think they know everything, you might want to try to live off grid before you tell a guy who's living off grid how to live off grid. So this was my first attempt at cutting holes, and this hole was too close to the side, and I just didn't think it would be enough strength. So I put that board on upside down, so I've already flipped it off camera. And the reason is because if I'd have left this side down, that would have been lower than what I wanted. This is going to give it a little bit more support, I think. I'm doing it offset so I don't hit the bolts. It's going to go through the plate to hold the winch on. Okay, so I don't like that board. I'm going to take this board off because when the cable see how the cable's hanging? That's not going to work. Oh yeah, well, never mind, we'll keep it. Well, if it doesn't work, we'll take it off later, but for now we'll leave it on. I was thinking that cable wouldn't clear this, and I didn't want to distract from the height. Because remember, the cable's going to come straight down. I got carriage bolts, which isn't exactly what I wanted, but that's what I got. So just taking a big hammer and slamming that carriage bolt up in there. Okay, so everything's attached. So I guess we'll start it up and see if it works. in kind of bouncing a little bit. So I'm going to pull it forward and see if we come up. So I will have to put some weight on the front end. So making me a bumper guard where I can put blocks on the front to hold it down. But it's going to need quite a bit of weight. It does okay as long as it's not moving. As soon as I put it in a gear, it wants to pop up, which actually makes sense. So using it like this will work pretty good, just to use it as a jack. And so probably next weekend, or you know, some other future project, I'll go ahead and build that. That won't be hard. A couple 2x4s and bolt them in there, and then start stacking weights on it somehow or another. But I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, of course, I'm disappointed that I couldn't drive things around. Lighter lawnmowers probably, but these heavy ones, doesn't look like it. I could drive it around if I just lifted a little bit off the ground. That way, if I do start to do a wheelie, it sets back down. The mower here would set back down, and I wouldn't flip over. But until then, that's what I'll do until then. But then I'll put some weights on it. Hopefully that'll help. So if you click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was working on something on my other channel. I appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you to work on a project, sing of your dreams. Thanks for watching.